Regardless of your background or your chosen career path, there are several essential IT or technical skills you should probably endeavor to know in today's market. Today on Mackie Tech, we're going to talk about my top 5, which will include productivity software, basic computer knowledge, cybersecurity, performing better Google searches, and last but not least, cloud backup. Stay tuned. For number 1, productivity software like Microsoft Excel, Word, and Teams. These apps and others like them are important to learn for keeping track of finances or tracking inventory or even writing a resume. In Excel, for example, it's good to understand the basics of creating a pivot table, managing multiple sheets, and working with formulas. For Microsoft Word, it's important to understand how to export a Word doc to other formats like PDF or even earlier versions of Word, because not everyone has the most up-to-date versions of Word. You should also have a basic understanding of how to format a document in case you want to make a resume. For apps like Teams and Zoom, you should definitely know how to use your camera, mute your microphone, and use the chat features, as well as understand how to send conference call invites. Now, I know these might sound very basic, but trust me, I've worked with a lot of people that have no idea how to use their computer or camera for video conferencing, and it's always the same people that arrive 10 minutes late because of technical issues. Nothing wrong with that, but just make sure you're familiar with your own technology. Make sure your microphone works before you start the call. Make sure that your camera is on. Make sure that you don't have a weird background. Mine's okay. The second on my list of top 5 technical skills to have is basic computer knowledge. And yes, your cell phones are computers, so we're going to be using those as examples. Now, the most common thing I hear is that people confusing random access memory, RAM, for a computer's hard drive space, when in fact they're quite different. For RAM, if you think of it as a sandbox for your apps you want to run, like Instagram, browsing the web, or streaming Netflix, the more RAM you have, the more apps you can run open at the same time. This way you can run Instagram, Netflix, or browse the web if you have more RAM than not. For your storage, imagine all of your apps are waiting to be used in a storage garage. The larger your garage, the more new apps you can download and store for later use. Another good rule of thumb is that your smartphone storage will always be vastly larger than your RAM. As an example, the base model of the new iPhone 16 and Samsung Galaxy S24 both come standard with 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. Next within computer knowledge is Central Processing Units, or CPUs, aka processors. Now, I could make a 2-hour-long video on the intricacies of different types of processors and how the computer cores work and multi-threading and all that other malarkey, but for our purposes, just remember that if a computer has more cores and a higher gigahertz, generally speaking, they're going to be much more efficient, faster, and more expensive than processors that do not have the same amount of cores or have the same gigahertz speed. Number 3 is Cybersecurity 101. I've done a few videos on best practices for cybersecurity, which offer much more detail that I'll link in the description. Now, you can have the best malware protection on the planet, but none of these are 100% effective. As an example, email clients like Gmail and Outlook are pretty good at sniffing out majority of malicious emails, but it's up to you to always check the sender's email, not the sender's name that is displayed, to make sure that you're not receiving spam. Another tip is to hover your mouse over the links and review the link address. If the link starts with HTTP but not HTTPS, it means the site doesn't have any safeguard. Remember, the S in HTTPS stands for secure, or safe to browse, as I like to say it. For number 4, let's take a closer look at how to perform an effective Google search. For an effective Google search, you want to use keywords. It's also best to utilize what's called Boolean terms like and, or, not. Note that I capitalized OR for or, as that's the only way that Google will recognize it in this fashion. You can also use the minus symbol in place of not to exclude words in your search results. Also, you can use the plus symbol to add specific words to your search, like the cat plus didn't jump over the moon. Use quotation marks for specific words or to find words in a document in a specific order, such as the age of reason, quote unquote, versus just saying the age of reason. Another tip is to restrict the domain or site by using site, S-I-T-E, colon, such as site, S-I-T-E, colon, YouTube.com, Mackie Tech. For number 5, let's talk about cloud backup. Now, in my time, I've worked with several professionals that do not have any type of cloud backup, and what happens is that if you break your phone or your computer dies, you lose all of your data because it's not backed up. Now, if you're unfamiliar with how cloud backup services work, you're basically paying for a set amount of storage on a remote computer to store your information, your data, your pictures. Think of it as like where your email is when you log into your Yahoo or your Google or wherever it is you get your email. But instead of storing emails, cloud backup stores your documents and your pictures. With companies like Apple and Google charging under $3 a month for 100 gigabytes plus of cloud storage, there's really no reason not to leverage cloud backup to protect your data. Other popular options are Box.com, Dropbox, and iDrive. All of these services offer smartphone and tablet apps as well as apps for the desktop, and they can all be automated to save your documents as well as any changes you made to your documents in real time, and even saving your precious pictures of your furry quadruped as soon as you take them. Today we talked about my top 5 IT skills that I would recommend most people know. Now, whether you're in IT or you're a hairstylist or a ditch digger or a plumber, you can certainly benefit from having these skills because everybody has personal data that they want to keep track of in the cloud, or they want to know how to use Google search a little bit better and be better informed about the technology that they might own or that they might want to upgrade to. And of course, this isn't all-encompassing. I'm sure you guys have your own opinions on what's more important. Let me know in the comments below, if you could, what you think the top 5 or maybe even the top 10 top IT skills. If you like this video and you'd like to see more of this, please let me know in the comments and give this video a like, and please make sure you're subscribed to Mackie Tech so you don't miss any of my other upcoming videos. Thank you again for watching, and we'll be talking to you again very soon.